This fertile body of water yields nearly half of all the fish and shellfish produced in the United States. This beautiful sea provides essential habitat, directly or indirectly, for more than half of America's ducks, geese, and other water birds. The salt marshes and mangrove forests along the edges of this magnificent water body are among the most productive natural ecosystems in the world. Flowing into this great sea are rivers that drain 2/3 of the United States continental lands. This magnificent, magical place is the Gulf of Mexico. Located along the Gulf's coast, near the middle of the Great Florida Peninsula, are several freshwater rivers with names like Suwannee, Withlacoochee, Homosassa, and Chassahowitzka. A prime example of these scenic tributaries is the spring-fed Crystal River, from which several 100 million gallons of fresh water flow daily into the salty Gulf. In the coastal regions where the fresh and salt water mix, we find an extraordinary natural phenomenon known as a coastal estuary. It is here in these marshes that nature places her most productive nurseries, not just for the fish and seafood we humans need and enjoy, but for all the other plant and animal species that are connected to these critical food chains. Animals of all kinds abound in this agreeable environment. The 1,600-mile Gulf coastline is home to over 40 national wildlife refuges, whose goal is to protect our nation's wildlife and wild lands. Magnificent birds live and raise their young in Gulf Coast rookeries. The Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge has become world famous as a prime habitat for the charming and docile West Indian manatee. Humans love these areas for more than just our insatiable demand for seafood. We find great pleasure swimming, diving, and cruising about in the beautiful springs and bays. We love to place our homes along the shores, and we crave the beautiful views and the glimpses of wildlife. Many people earn a living directly from the water through commercial fishing and the seafood markets. Some of us earn a living by ecotourism, that is, providing tourists with the opportunity to observe the animals and natural beauty of the nature coast. What most people who live and work and visit and enjoy this beautiful region do not realize is that if current trends continue, the days of this incredible beauty and productivity will soon be over. Since the 1600s, roughly half of the coastal wetlands in the lower 48 states have been sacrificed to agriculture and development. In Florida, nearly 90% of these areas have already been altered by our demands for coastal homes and lifestyles. In the last few decades, we have witnessed many disturbing changes in the river and along the coast, including the decline of water clarity in our springs, the loss of submerged grasses in many areas, and the near disappearance of some commercially important fish and seafood. Many of our onshore activities directly or indirectly distribute pollutants and toxic substances which ultimately wash into the rivers and estuaries. Pollution problems are as destructive to the marine environment as the threat from thoughtless development. The algal blooms and prolific plants are clear evidence of excessive nutrients that wash into our bays from upland runoff, septic systems, and fertilizers. In the coastal estuaries, our pollutants can kill organisms that are critical to a food chain, or cause one particular species to overtake many others, thus disrupting an entire ecosystem. Is there anything that you and I can do to reverse the destruction of these extremely valuable natural resources? Fortunately, the answer is still yes, but only if we act now. First, we must make a real effort to learn about our coastal estuaries, how they function, and their value to each of us. We must protect both the quantity and quality of the fresh water that is such a critical ingredient to the survival of these coastal estuaries and the life forms they support. We should get involved, and give our support to organizations that are working to protect this environment. We must always properly dispose of oils, paints, automotive fluids, pesticides, and other toxic products. We need to be especially careful when refueling or servicing boats. Finally, we should encourage everyone to be thoughtful, to use common sense, and to treat our few remaining coastal estuaries with the care and respect they deserve.